Well, first of all, I want to start off by asking you how you've been, man. We
Man,
haven't talked in
I
a bit.
we haven't talked since I think maybe the last podcast, which just goes to
Yeah,
show how
yeah.
true our friendship really is. But
Now you know how it
Alhamdulillah,
is.
man. Alhamdulillah, man. I've been working on music, just been working in general,
Yeah.
and just that's been keeping me a lot happier. Just moved into a new house, Alhamdulillah. But how about you, bro?
Well, so I wanna comment on the podcast thing. People are gonna say that I might be fake, but I like to think of it differently, where this podcast actually allows me to have an opportunity to like actually like just hit up people, and then like
Yeah, nah.
it forces me to do that. You get what I mean? Like I
You
wouldn't like
know,
normally do it, but like because of
a good
this,
friend,
I'm
a
like,
real friend, doesn't need to be
thanks.
forced.
Thanks, Adil.
Yeah, I just,
Now you get what I mean, right? Like
of course,
it's
of
like an
course.
excuse. It's like an excuse to just
Yeah,
hit up old pals like you haven't seen in a while.
of
It's
course. And
like
like we're getting older, and even me, like I'm technically unemployed, but I'm working full time on my art. But I get caught up in the work so much, and like I have so much free time, but even then, I won't want to hit up nobody. So I know how
it's how it is, right, bro? Like
it is.
when was the last time you had like an hour long conversation with someone that you haven't talked to in months, right? Like why would you do that? Like if you
Actually,
haven't
I want
already
to bring
been.
something up. It's
Oh, you
perfect
have
that
done
you bring
that.
that up because
Okay.
this podcast actually did that for me. For someone other than you.
Who?
So there was someone that we went to high school with, and he saw the episode that I was on last time,
Uh huh.
and he was like, "Oh, I remember this kid. He was just like this energetic, just this wild ass kid who didn't really have much of a, you know what I'm
Did
saying? But like, I was
Yeah,
just
did
this off the wall kid with just a bunch of
can
energy
I
with
guess?
nothing to do with it. Guess
Is it someone that we mentioned in that episode?
I don't think so.
Oh no. Okay. Because I was gonna say Solomon, but
No, I mean I
yeah,
talk to
I don't
Suleiman
know.
every now and then,
Yeah,
but
I don't know
uh,
who is it
the Mahaliger.
really?
Yeah,
The
bro. So
Mahaliger?
he contacted me after the episode, and he was like, "Yo, man, I haven't seen you in a long time, but it seems like you've grown a lot,
Bro,
and you
that's
seem to
funny.
know."
I didn't know he even watched, but that's goes to show, I guess.
Yo, it just goes to show the power of what you're doing, man. And he was just like, "Yo, bro, the stuff that you talked about, I would really love to talk to you more about it and go more in depth about just some of the concepts that you were talking about, just about life." And we ended up doing that, and then we ended up having such a great in-depth conversation that now, like every couple of weeks, we just hop on the phone and talk.
Bro, that's dope. I would
And
never assume.
that's someone in high school. The 1 year that I was there, I only talked to him like twice.
Yeah, because he's already a year above me.
Yeah,
And
and
people
you
who
were a year
know
above me. Yeah,
people who know who we're talking about, it's just like it's not that it's bad. It's just like you would never think, you know.
you would never like me and
You would
him
never
don't look
think.
like two people that would mess with each other,
It's like,
right?
yeah,
Like
it's like the most opposite, not opposite, but it's like like completely two different groups.
right,
You get what I mean?
two
That's
different
cool, man.
people, right?
That's amazing. Like like that's actually really dope that
Yeah, and
you had to
I don't
connect with
think I
someone
mentioned
that
that
you
to you
never.
before that, right?
Yeah, no, because like you said, we don't talk anymore.
Yeah,
Um, but alhamdulillah, yeah, this is
yeah, man.
like I said, this is just another excuse, and it seems like you got another excuse to reconnect with someone you've never actually connected with
Yeah.
before. Um, so anyway, I actually hit you up um because I ran out of gas. Not in
I
a
figured. No, that's what I figured. I was like, yeah,
not in a bad way. Yeah, it was really more of like so I started I quit my old job, which was part time on weekends, and I got a summer position, which is full time. And it's in Westchester, so that's like a good hour long drive.
so
And
basically, you
then
work in the Bronx now.
it's past the Bronx. It's
No, it's
upstate
in the Bronx.
technically.
No, Westchester is the
Westchester is
Bronx.
technically it's technically not the Bronx.
The Bronx claims Westchester. We claim Westchester.
You claim Westchester, I
We
bet
claim Westchester.
it's a nicer area of quote unquote the Bronx, I guess, right? But so it's been I've been working there for a month now, and like every day I come home, I'm like, bro, I don't want to do nothing. Like I just want to like nap and then just like watch anime or like whatever, right? I really don't want to like do anything creative or do any other type of work, I guess, which is like kind of unfortunate because like this stuff I actually like doing. Like this is like the stuff that I enjoy. Like anything creative, I'm sure like you can relate to that. You actually are like going the route of making it a full time thing for you, which is dope. And we touched on the music thing last
Yeah.
episode. I don't want to I don't want
But
to revive that combo,
while
but
we're on the general topic of creativity, I just wanted to mention that I love like what I feel about creativity is that I feel like every human has some form of talent that has to do with the arts. I feel like every human has some form of art that they have to
you know
create.
what's crazy, bro? So my bad. I'll just finish the point that I was trying to make, and then I'll
Yeah.
go back to what you just said. So I was doing that for a month, right? The last episode I did was someone on another podcast. He was actually one of my favorite guests I've had. Shout out to Faizan. You should actually check out that episode. You'd probably really
Mhm.
like it, just like the concepts we were talking about, because it's like when you finally meet someone that's like doing the same stuff as you and he can like relate on like five different levels, then it's like a new form of chemistry, so like we really hit it off. That was a really cool episode. But then after him I didn't record anything. It's been like well, today it's been like a week and a half since I posted that episode, but it's really been like a month since I actually recorded anything.
And
So
that happens, bro.
so I was like,
Like
who's like the best person for me to hit up, who I know will give me good content, because I actually really enjoyed the episode we did together. I think we really touched on like some like major stuff, and the beautiful thing was I didn't plan any of that. Like I didn't really structure any of that episode. I mean, like sometimes I try to do that, but like with my boys, I really don't like structuring it. But yeah, like what were you gonna say?
I was just saying like creatively. I feel like every human has some form of art that they're gifted to create. Like art is such a valuable and such a beautiful thing for humans. Like I honestly don't see any negatives to creating art, and all I see are positive. Like all I see is people expressing themselves, people letting out whatever they have within themselves emotionally, and being able to connect with other artists. Like what you just said, perfect. Because how you said that when you met this other podcaster, someone who thinks along the same lines as you, works along the same lines as you. When I meet other artists, that's exactly how it is. We talk about what we love to do, and we share ideas. And I just feel like art, man, you took so long proving your point. I forgot what I was gonna say. Like saying what you.
Yo, okay, my bad. So I was also gonna say, like, it's crazy that you said that, because so the place I work at now is a behavioral health center, and for HIPAA reasons, like I can't mention names or anything, right? Do you know
Probably
what
meet a
HIPAA
lot of
is?
people like me.
You
Yeah,
know what HIPAA is, right?
it's the
It's
Hippocratic Oath,
it's
right?
no.
No.
HIPAA is an acronym, HIPAA. It's basically um, like kind of like patient confidentiality. Like I can't reveal like patients' names or like anything like that, or like I can get in trouble, or like like describe them so much that someone can guess. Although like I don't think anyone will guess. But so basically, I've been working with like in a psych ward pretty much, and the unit that I was assigned is the geriatric unit, which for people that don't know, it's like old people, right? So it's like people ranging from 50 to like in their 80s, right? And they could be on the spectrum of like they're just mildly depressed. They had an episode, something went wrong, and then they're there for a few days, to like someone that's been there for like maybe like 3 months, right? But basically, my point was, so one of the dudes there, me and him got like really close in the month that I've been working there, because he's been there for about a month now, and he's like exactly what you just said. Like he's like really into his art. He loves painting. They're not allowed to have paints because it's kind of like the paintbrush are like kind of sharp. They
Yeah.
can like hurt themselves, whatever. Right? It's really strict. Yeah, it's really strict, the rules that they have, bro. Like it's crazy. Like not even allowed to have like curtains. Like anything can be like
No, but let's be real. The reason they don't have the paintbrushes is
for sure.
because
Like it's a
no, not
safety
other
thing.
than the stabbings. Other than the stabbings, you know the other reason. Like you know the specific reason, and I know that you know what I'm thinking about right
The paint.
now. The brush
What about
itself.
the brush?
When I was in the psych ward, when I was younger, I was told a story of someone in the older unit
Yeah.
taking a comb and putting it up someone's premises.
Oh
Yeah, someone's
no.
cavity. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now we weren't allowed to have phones
Damn.
either. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you for more like stuff from your experience, but
I love those stories.
but anyway, like so he has chalks now, right? He has like these like different colored chalks, and he makes like these beautiful like sunset, sunrises, landscape type stuff. This guy like he has like every diagnosis you can imagine. He has like um ADHD, like autism, um depression, bipolar. Like he's all over the place, but like he has like he's a genius. Like if you just start talking to him, you can realize like the level of genius he is. And he's literally like remember the first week where I was talking about his art, and like how he talks is like he'll start to think about like one thing, and then he'll like jump to a different topic, and then just jump to another thing, and then like he won't really let you speak until you interrupt him, and then like he'll pause because he heard your question. They're listening. It's just like you got to stop them. So
Yeah.
I was like asking about his art, here and there, and then he would answer, and then he would just jump to, and then like there were certain points when he would like ask me a question, and I would get like super surprised, like like they can have regular conversations, like these are regular people, right? Which I think there's like a huge stigma about. But so anyway, long story short, like he asked me like, yo, do you do any type of art? I'm like, I like to write, I guess. And he was like, what kind of writing? Like, do you write fiction, nonfiction? I think I know nonfiction writer. And I'm like, before he like even went to that tangent, I was like, no, I write poetry. And he was like, poetry, huh? Poetry is kind of like songwriting. Like, you should write songs, maybe.
Yeah.
Do you play guitar? Do you play piano? I'm like, no, I don't really play anything. And I'm like, and then he was like, maybe you should go in songwriting. Maybe you should like do songwriting on the side, and like you can start a band. You can write piano. Like, do you know how to play an instrument? I'm like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, can you count to four? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, you can play an instrument. I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna do that, but thank you
Nah,
for the
yo,
recommendation.
it's like you're doing your best impression of me. He said, "Can you
but
count to four, bro?" I literally said that to someone last week.
that's, bro, so yeah, when he said that, so anyway, I was like, yo, but it's really cool that you do poetry. Like, I think everyone needs to do something creative. Like, and he literally said this exact same point you said. Everyone has something creative. They just have to find it, right? Everyone has something like an art that they have inside of them. They just have to find it for themselves. And it's really cool that you said that, because
I finally remembered where I was going with that.
yeah.
And what I wanted to say was, I love watching other people discover that within themselves. Like when you started this podcast and when you started doing poetry, I was there the first time you like perform poetry, like your spoken word in front of a large audience. And bro, just watching you on that stage, like I had this goofy smile on my face the whole time. I was just like, that's my
Bro,
boy up there.
I look back at every single time I go on, and I'm like, wow, that was like so cringy. But like, I never rewatch anything.
It's not, bro. Like the entire time I'm watching it, never there's a part of me go, oh, that was cringe.
I remember the first time, because that was at Mist, and like there's like a huge auditorium, and like, bro, I was literally like shaking. There was one point where so Malik, he shout out to Malik, he like coached me the night before on like literally like going through like each word, how to like actually get emotion in my voice and stuff like that. Told me to you know how like people move around and stuff. I think he advised me to like sit still in one spot and like let my hands do the talking, which I haven't really given up that habit anymore, as some people like to point out. But, right? But like I remember towards the end, my feet, like they were like legit like shaking like that. So then I started to like fidget back and forth to like kind of take away attention from that. So I rewatched them, like, yeah, that's the moment I started shaking, and that's when I started fidgeting to like get attention off that, get like the blood flowing or whatever. But yeah, that was something else, man. What was it? What was it? Yeah, what was the point you were making?
Just being able to sit there and just witness one of my friends like achieve creative. I can't like. I don't want to say,
bro. That's the same thing for you. Like you've performed way more than me. Like in your group and solo. But I mean, now it's probably like more behind the scenes, but
right now at the exact moment, yeah. But like for my whole life, I've always been performing.
Yeah, you've always been on the stage. Yeah, I remember that.
That's just what I feed off of. I just feed off of people. Like when I was younger, I did comedy. I'm trying to get back into comedy one day, hopefully.
That would be sick.
I feel like I'm not funny anymore, man. It's like it's a horrible feeling. I just feel like I'm not funny anymore.
I mean, I think everyone sucks like when they first start off, right? Like comedy is really hard. Like comedy is so hard. Even like the funniest people that I know that would probably like kill it in like a group setting on stage is completely different.
Yeah.
So I can
Like
it's I
someone like
can yeah
the person who really put it into perspective for me was Dave Chappelle, who is just one of
yeah
my
for
biggest
sure.
inspirations just in general. But as a comedian,
The
in
goat,
my
bro.
opinion, the
He's the
greatest, the
greatest of
GOAT.
all time.
No question, no question. And what I noticed when I got older and I was rewatching his old specials, I noticed that the jokes he was making, this is all stuff, like not obviously not all of it, but a lot of it was stuff that I've been in similar situations before and
Yeah,
I've had the same thought process. I just never figured out how to put that into funny words.
yeah,
And if like if people could just learn that. Literally everyone's perspective is so unique. If you just learn how to put your thoughts into words, honestly, I'm just rambling, but if you could learn how to put your thoughts into words, man, like honestly, I think that's how we could achieve world peace. Like, because there's so many ideas, like great ideas that I have, and I can only imagine if with my dumb self having these great ideas, what kind of ideas you might be having, what kind of ideas Elon Musk might be having that he can't just fathom to put into words and present to people.
for sure, man. I mean, I think it all starts with the conversation. It all starts with like you just being honest with yourself. I remember Dave Chappelle. He was talking. It wasn't during a special. It was during when he received the Harry Truman Award, and he talked about the greatest. I think he said something like the greatest medium of our time right now, or stand-ups, or something along those lines, because that is the only art form where everyone is telling the truth. You can disagree with it with whatever they're saying, but it's their truth, right? And it's like I think he described it as like a safe haven, or like not a safe
Yeah.
space, but like he kind of described it as like this sacred place, quote unquote, right? For people to be true to themselves. I'm probably butchering whatever he said, but I remember something along those
I've
lines.
seen exactly what you're saying. I believe it was the Mark Twain Award that he was receiving,
Yeah. What
but
did I say? Harry Truman? No, what the hell?
yeah,
I'm stupid.
but
Mark Twain.
I mean, comedy.
Who the hell is
That's the
Harry
beauty of
Truman?
it is that
Yeah.
like the great J. Cole said, every good joke got some truth to it, you know. And
Mm,
again, that's what makes comedy so powerful. But then that's again that's what's causing people to try to take away that power from comedy. You and I
mm.
both personally know people, mutual friends, who can't go to a stand-up comedy show and then sit through the whole thing before getting offended.
The thing is, I think most stand-up comedians they can be hit or miss, right? Like they always got some good jokes, but then like a lot of them are miss. Unless like you're Dave Chappelle, right? Even like some of these Netflix specials, I can't really sit through all of it because it's good. There's going to be some missed jokes. That's just like
Like
how it is.
and
Because it's
everything
just so
is
subjective. Like
subjective.
it's so
Exactly.
subjective. Yeah.
Everything is subjective. Like there was this one special that came out a couple years ago called Nanette, and I remember half the internet was going crazy over it. They're like, Nanette is the greatest special I've ever seen. And then my
Nanette
favorite,
by who?
it was a woman. I forgot her name.
Oh, okay.
But one of my favorite comedians, Michael Che from Saturday Night Live. You
Yeah.
may know him. Uh,
Yeah.
he was just going off on it like all week on his Instagram, on
He
his
hated
Twitter, on
it.
social media. He hated it. He was like, I
Mm.
haven't even seen. He watched it, but he was just making jokes. I haven't even seen it, but I already know this is worse than what I wrote on the toilet last night. But nah, I ended up watching it and I couldn't sit through more than 15 minutes of it. Like, and I'm well, I considered myself like a real big fan of comedy. Like I thought I had a big palate.
Yeah,
But
I got you.
and what I find funny, sometimes you don't even find funny. Like you'll give me the look, really, bro.
Yeah, half your stories, I'm just like, all right. And then sometimes I'll be like, yo, delete this. Because
Like
I
last
know you
week,
won't. I know you won't, but I'm like, let me just
that's what
let
I want you to
me
say.
just do it.
I want to know that it's thought provoking. I want to know that it's leading to people thinking about something, whatever I say.
You do you, bro. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Do you have any more thoughts on just comedy in general?
I have a lot of thoughts on comedy, man. Oh, I wish I knew we were going to talk about this because I would have wrote down
You would have
pages.
wrote it down.
I would have wrote down pages
All
because
good.
there's so many like I have different things that I say of, like about different comedians. Like when it comes to talking about someone like Bill Burr, he's someone who I feel like I resonate personality wise with the most because he's just always been
He's
angry.
Yeah, his personality is like at 100 at like at
he's
all
like
times. He's
at
not for
100.
everyone. He's not.
Yo,
He's really
you're
not for
like
everyone.
quoting. You're taking the words out of my mouth before I say them.
Yeah,
I was about to say he like you walk into a room maybe at like 10, 20. Bill Burr
yeah,
walks into a room at
yeah.
80 already.
That's for the whole hour.
Yeah,
Like the whole
yeah.
hour, he's like that. Yeah, he's not. He's really not for everyone.
But then he like if you're an understanding person and you can understand tone and emotion, you look at his face, you see that he's smiling.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't sat through a whole special of his because I'm not
Well,
that big of a fan of like his
I'm a
jokes,
huge
but
fan.
yeah, I can see why people would like him. Yeah, I
I
can see it.
guess I guess one last thought on the topic of comedy would be just stop taking everything so serious. Just sometimes if something isn't funny, it just didn't work. It's just not funny.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's what comedy is. Like you said, it's hit or miss. If it didn't hit for you, just leave.
For sure. Well, so like I said in the beginning, this episode is like really unstructured, like the last one. I did know that I wanted to talk about one thing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. Or I can like delete it afterwards if you ask me to. It's
Oh
fine.
no.
But it's more like because the place I've been working at, it's just like getting me thinking about like a lot of this stuff recently. So like you have ADHD, obviously you've lived through
Mm-hmm.
that's your whole life. Um, and you also have
I have bipolar depression.
right. I didn't want to speak on your behalf,
Right.
but
And anxiety.
right,
Right.
uh, a bunch of diagnoses.
You already know. I
So
got the whole book. Hey, anyone who think they got more problems than me, I dare you. DM me on
nah,
Instagram. Let's talk.
don't do that. Don't do that. But rather than me, um, try to like start off asking questions, I
Yeah.
want you to kind of just just speak about your experience with it, whatever you want to speak on, like the topic of mental health or like your diagnoses or like what you went through. Just
But
go for it, and then we'll see what kind of things I want to ask from there.
like again, when it came to this, it's been the years have gone. It's been so long that I want to say it's been about 6 or 7 years since it's
Yeah.
happened, since I've been in there. But my perspective on that has changed constantly since then.
Since what?
Now, since I got out, at first when I was in there, it felt like I was in prison. Like
And
we were
where?
eating prison in the psych ward.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When I was in the psych ward, we all felt like we were in prison. You know, it felt like we were eating jail food. Like I wasn't going like it just like we felt like we were more prisoners than patients, you know. It felt like we were
Mhm.
being more watched over than taken care of.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie inside of there it was really nice, but it was also really weird. I
It
had a
was
good
all
time
was
while
it
I
all
was there.
teenagers?
My spot was all teenage
Yeah.
boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was in two of them. The first one I was in for about 2 weeks, and the
Yeah.
second one I was in for about a month. But the first
Okay.
one was okay. It was in Brooklyn. It was in Kings County. They actually
Do
keep
you,
like medically insane criminals there.
do you want to talk about uh what triggered you to be there, or
Oh yeah, sure.
you don't have to if you don't want?
So nah,
Okay.
for me, my whole life I've had like attention issues, like ADHD problems, which I didn't know until I got older, until I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I
I didn't
got you.
know it was ADHD, right?
Mhm.
And depression, my doctor told me that I've been depressed for as long as I can remember, but I have
Mhm.
really bad memories. I have really foggy memories because I've had a really traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
And that that's led to a lot of my memory being blocked out in just
Mhm.
chunks.
Yeah.
But around that time, when I was about 15 years old, after my freshman year of high school, there was a lot of stuff going on for me, like a lot of new things that I'd never experienced before. And at the same time, the school that we went to, Brooklyn Tech, it was such like a, like a difficult school. And for me, I never realized that I wasn't such a great student. Like in middle school and elementary school, I had straight A's, but who didn't? Like, and then when I got to high
There are
school,
people that did, but yeah, and I get your point. I get your point. It's
yeah,
the
when
whole
I got to
gifted and
tech,
talented thing.
I wasn't ready for that. That just wasn't me. Like the people that I met there were great. I met a lot of great people and I met a lot of bad people. But I'll never regret my time there. But I wasn't ready for the academic workload. I wasn't ready for what happens when you start high school, just like the growth that you go through as a person. I wasn't ready for any of that. I was so far behind on life that I wasn't ready for anything that was about to come my way. And then
Mhm.
a lot of stuff happened at once. My grades came in for the end of the year. I failed all my classes. So, obviously with brown parents, I got a lot of pressure from that. I thought I was about to be sent back to Bangladesh. And then,
It'd be like that.
yeah, there's always girl problems and stuff when you're younger. And that was my first time. That was my first time ever experiencing anything like that. I didn't know how to handle it. And then
You don't
school,
have to go
obviously,
in.
on top of
Yeah,
that.
you don't have to go in
Yeah,
detail on that.
of course. And it's just like it felt like it all collapsed on me all at once. And I've been fighting through adversity my whole life, but I never
Yeah,
had to directly face anything on like that, especially multiple things at the same time. And I just like I lost control of myself, like in my mind. And I couldn't eat, and I barely talked. Like I was like almost in shock at just like
yeah,
what was happening to me.
yeah.
And then I ended up in the hospital after I couldn't eat, I couldn't take anything down, so they had to put me in the hospital. And then once I got to the ER, they were like, "Yo, we want to admit you." And I'm like, "I don't know what that means," but it happened. So I get to the psych ward,
Yeah.
and I'm taking a shower in the bathroom, and I'm getting ready. The PAs and the nurses, they're all
What?
waiting.
Which hospital is this?
This was Kings County first in Brooklyn.
Do you have a psych ward?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just yeah.
Interesting.
They even kept. I was watching this video last week, and it was about a serial killer who was apprehended, and they kept him. After they
In the
took him out of
psych
jail,
ward?
they kept him in Kings County.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So so um I was in the shower for a minute. And I like to take long showers. It was really weird. I didn't know what to expect or what was gonna happen after I got out of the shower. So I was just like
Mhm.
low key hiding in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they start knocking on the door, and they're like, "Yo, get out, time's up." So I get out, and they're like, "Yo, why we let you stay in there for so long?" They're like, "Normally you gotta be done after 10 minutes, you out. You were in there for about 45 minutes. You know why we left you in there for so long? Those kids were planning to jump you."
In the
And I
psych
was like,
ward?
"Yeah," I was like, "No way." I was like,
And
"Damn,
in the psych ward?
yeah." And it wasn't like they weren't gonna do nothing to
That's
stop me.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
So
dead prison.
word. And then a couple of the kids that were trying to jump me, they eventually got moved out. I don't know how. They had some serious issues, but they were not ready. And then I was moved in with someone who I'd
I mean,
become friends with.
sometimes they don't get like discharged fully. They get referred to another place.
Yeah, and
So that might have
outpatient
been it.
nurse. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been it.
But I made friends with some people while I was there too. It was a lot of cool people. And we ended up all sharing a room. We had roommates. And then they moved us all into a bigger room. So that
How
was
many rooms? How many roommates were in one room?
normally it was just two people, but
Yeah. Okay.
we ended up going to the corner room. So we had four
Yeah.
people. And
Okay.
it was nice, like it was valid. But then this one day, one of the kids in my room just starts tweaking out in the middle of the night. And like it's like nothing you've seen before. It was like, you remember K2? K2 was that
K2.
synthetic drug that was going around
Yeah.
New
Okay.
York.
Yeah. I remember. Okay.
Yeah. It looked like he was like that. Like
Yeah.
this
Okay.
kid was, first of all, he was like 19 years old at the time. He was about
Yeah.
5 feet tall, like
Mhm.
about 5'1", 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know exactly what what he was going through, but it seemed to be something like I'd never seen before.
Mhm.
And in the middle of the night, just randomly, he would just go crazy. Like he would just lose his mind. So they had like, the board that they pinned him down with.
Yeah.
They took that and they had like three guys on top of this 5 foot tall dude, bro. Like this tiny dude. They had three guys with the boards on top. They couldn't hold him down. This kid was insanely strong.
These are the staff, right? Like
Yeah,
these are
the
like
staff.
the nurses or okay. Yeah. Sure. Gotcha.
And he called one of the staff members daddy. He called the other one mommy. Like, it was well, it was fun because we're all in this together, man. We could laugh at each other.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
know
I
what we're
got
going
you.
through. And like to this day, I'm still friends with one of them guys. Like I still like whenever I'm in New York, I say what's up to him.
Yeah.
We still have a good relationship. I still send him whatever I work on. And it's
That's
like
dope.
since
That's
then,
dope.
yeah,
Is he
like
doing better?
that guy, he was one of those guys that was just randomly in there.
Okay.
He was a drug dealer. He sold weed. And
Okay.
his parents thought they sent him to a rehab center.
Uh-huh.
And he was in the psych ward.
That's crazy.
His parents thought it was a rehab center.
That's crazy.
So
He
he
was
was
in
just,
there for
now
how long?
for about a month. He was in there longer. He got in before me, left after me.
That's wild.
Bro,
Bro,
I got there and I'm like, "Yo, what you in here for, bro? You seem mad normal." He was like, "Well, my parents thought it was a rehab center." Oh
that's
man.
wild. They didn't
Oh,
know for a month. Oh man.
And the stories we heard in there, like the stuff that happened in there, man, like that's when I became an artist. That's when I decided I want to start making music. We would spend all night just staying up. Bedtime was about 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we would stay up all night writing. They give us notebooks to write in.
Mm-hmm.
I would just write lyrics. I still have those notebooks. I remember I wrote one song that was just 7 straight pages of bars with no hook. I was just like, let me just go off for 7 pages. Let's try to set a world record for how many bars in a row I could write. And that was just what kept me grounded, just working on discovering that within myself, realizing that I could write music, and I had poetry within me.
That's dope. Did you think when you came out, did you think you actually were feeling better? Like, did it actually?
Not at
help?
all.
Not at all.
I don't think it helped me at all. I honestly just feel like I was just being taken advantage of as more of like a cash cow. I feel like the doctor himself, like everyone had these weird feeling towards him. Like nobody really trusted the doctor much.
Mm.
His name was Dr.
Don't say his name.
K.
Don't say his name. Yeah, don't say his name, bro. Which is funny because Dr. K is a psychiatrist on YouTube. You know who that is? You've never heard of him, bro? He's been popping recently because he's a Twitch streamer.
I don't believe in psychiatrists.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. But so Dr. K is a psychiatrist on YouTube. He's like, I think he goes by Healthy Gamer because he like interviews, like I think he interviewed like Pokimane and like a bunch of other like Twitch gamers and stuff. Yeah, people, bro, just like live stream therapy sessions with them. It's pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah. You might like it. You might like it.
I might. It might just be like one of those weird things that I enjoy.
Rosh really likes him. Rosh like really enjoys him.
You know what? That just makes me dislike it.
Damn, bro. I'm gonna tell him that.
You know, that's someone else. That's someone else who doesn't hit me up.
Bro,
yo, this podcast, I'm calling out all the ops.
Oh my god, bro. I don't even know if I don't even know if I'm supposed to cut this out. Yo, that's your uncle, bro. You can't be taking shots at family. But anyway, yo, I think I cut you off. Continue with this Dr. K guy. Like, what about him?
Man, well, I'm sure you know.
How this. You said Rosh. You said Rosh never hits you up. I'm so. I'll leave that in.
But you probably know more about this like factually than I do. But what I was told, like rumors always went around the Psych ward, and what a lot of guys always talked about was the doctor always made commission whenever we took a pill or whenever he prescribed us a pill. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was just a general belief while I was there.
Yeah, I don't know too much about
this guy. This guy was coming into the office, like we would see him through the window. He would come to the office in a different exotic car every day, Ferrari, custom Range Rover, custom Lamborghini, bro. He had a custom Lamborghini in Brooklyn. A brown guy, but the doctor was a brown guy.
Yeah,
bro. And me knowing brown people, I'm like, this guy's in it for the money. So
yeah,
I just never trusted him. I never took my pills, but I actually.
What's really funny? The guy that I told you about, he also hates psychiatrists. The artist guy. Bro, I'm seeing a lot of similarities here. But he's like 50, you know. He's a cool guy. Like me and him are best friends. But
really?
He's every time because he really likes me. I will. I'll let him know about your.
Just
be
like on
stuff.
Behalf. Adil said on behalf of all crazy people.
I'll let him know. I'll be freaking busting my ears, but yeah, he said because he really likes me because like I don't know, I like listening to like whatever he says. Like I legit like sit there for an hour hearing like 20 tangents just to like get like some gems out of there.
Friends.
Did he? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't know how I forget how we became friends.
It was literally just I would walk up to you and just start talking to you.
Yeah, I think I got more annoyed before, but like now I'm a bit more patient.
I was the learning curve.
But yeah, the bro, like I remember this like the other day, he like was like, hey, can you come here? And then he like just like started bursting out crying. He was like, you know, I never tell anyone this stuff, but you know, you've been so nice to me these past couple of weeks, and like he just like said like 20 different things from his backstory. I'm like, oh, this is some wild stuff. I can't say because like it's his personal stuff, but you know, this is like it was some wild stuff that you know, his family is everything was just messed up for him, right? But oh yeah, so my point was he also hates psychiatrists And every time he would like every time he would see me like, you should be a psychologist. I really hate psychiatrists. Psychiatrists, no one really needs psychiatrists. You just need psychology. Therapists are good. Psychologists probably make better money too because you can just start a private practice. It's less liability. And he's just like, I'm like, bro, I'm good, bro.
I don't believe in
Thank
psychology
you.
either.
I don't. This guy's been in a psych ward for longer than you. Well, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna make that joke.
I like the reason I say that. I would rather talk to someone like the Mahaliger or someone like you, who would talk to me
sure.
because they
Everyone
want to
has.
talk to me rather than someone being paid to talk to
I think it depends, right? Because I don't know how derailed this conversation will get, so I might cut it
me.
short
Who
if it
cares, man?
gets
It's just
if it gets too tangential. But I think a lot of those people do go in for the money. But I've seen a lot, especially like the place that I work personally. Like this is probably the best facility I've seen, not even just hospital wise. Like this is like a mix of like a country club. I don't want to say the name because it's gonna sound like I'm like advertising, but
yeah.
it's like a mix of a country club, freaking
Is it
like
like
a
considered
college
like a
campus.
luxury?
It's like top tier, like it's one of the
Okay.
best in the country, right? And like,
Hey, just in case it ever happens to me again.
I mean, we have an adolescent unit, right? We have a unit for everything, but
I'm in my 20s now.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
adolescent.
bro, I don't know. I mean, we have a young people unit, like, bro, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
even, bro. I am not young, bro.
You know, are you 20?
Yeah,
Nah, that's wild.
I'm in
You
my
can't be
roaring
20.
20s, bro.
That's
I'm so
wild, bro.
old. I am
Nah,
so
you're so
old.
old, bro. You're so old. I'm 20. I mean, I'm about to be 21 next month, but
We're the same age right now. That's crazy.
currently, yeah, but
Wow.
not for a month. But yeah, like I genuinely think everyone that I work with personally, they want to help people. Like, of course, you get paid for it, but like, I think it's just like you're doing like what you think is gonna be beneficial for not just yourself, but like it's art is for everyone, right? I think that's kind of like the same thing. Like, you want to get into it because you want to help people. I mean,
True,
sure, like difference of
but
opinion, but
it's like it's a matter of just like my comfort levels with like you
sure,
know how I
yeah,
am when it
I
comes to
got you.
like you know how I'm either you get none of me or you get all of me.
I got
You
you.
know how I am,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
when it comes to someone like you, like when we talk behind the scenes or even on camera, like I open up to you. I'm an open book to you 100%. But
yeah,
if it was if it was a psychologist or anyone that I
yeah.
didn't really
Some of
know,
them are
just
weird. I'm not gonna
like when
even.
when I
I'm
was
not gonna
younger,
front. Some of them are really weird.
when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I I had anger issues as a kid. So like my
Yeah,
mom took me to my first psychologist when I was like 8 or 9,
yeah.
and I kicked him in the stomach.
Wow.
Ever since then, yeah, I don't believe
Bro,
in psychology.
you're those kids that we have that like the nurses have horror stories from, because like the kids units are actually like some of the worst because
Yeah, yeah.
they have no filter. Like they'll tell you what I've heard is like they'll pinpoint the thing about you that you hate the most, and they'll constantly tell you about it, like constantly annoy you, and they'll
Oh,
also get physical. And like they're kids, bro. What are you gonna do?
one thing I wanted to talk to you about when you mentioned your friend from work earlier is autism.
My patient friend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
uh, autism. I've heard so many different things about it, but the one that really resonated with me, that's just stuck with me through
yeah.
time, is that autism could be like the part of the next step towards human evolution,
I mean, I don't
and
know.
it makes perfect sense to me.
I haven't done research on this. I don't know. Have you like read papers on?
I haven't done in-depth research on it. I heard about it on Joe Rogan.
I think Elon is on the spectrum, right? Elon Musk, he has
Yeah, he is.
Asperger's. He's on
Yeah.
the spectrum, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
How do we get here? Oh yeah, you don't believe in psychology. Whatever. We're gonna skip this. We're gonna skip this topic. So you talked about like the first time you were at a psych ward, right? What happened the second time?
Well, the second time was more of just an in and out kind of thing. I was there for like a week or two,
Uh huh.
and I'm trying to remember how it looked. I okay, yeah, this one was way more relaxed. I'd say it was in
Yeah.
Long Island. It was a little more relaxed. It was like we had computers that we could go on like once a week,
Yeah.
uh, and we had the radio. We would play music from all the time,
Mhm.
and we had like PS4, and
Okay. That's pretty upper class.
yeah, we played Advanced Warfare all the time, like all day.
That's dope.
Yeah, but we ended up like only playing like we tried to play all day, but like there would always be the guy. You know how it goes. Like one guy just something happens, gets angry, shit
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a guy like this today. Like I was actually floated. That just means like I was sent to
Yeah.
another unit that was understaffed for the day, so I was sent there. And there's a guy who normally he's kind of calm, but like when he wilds out hard. Right, this past weekend he actually punched one of the nurses, and then like today he was at like we had to clear the whole hallway because he was getting like super like aggressive, like he was like shouting stuff, like he might have gotten physical, so we had to like clear the whole hallway of like all the
Yeah.
patients. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The thing is, this is actually like I feel like I've gotten more like verbal harassment and like almost physical altercations at the previous job. I had my urgent care, bro, because like I was in a pretty like bad neighborhood. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo,
Now
man, urgent
now
care.
everyone's like,
First of
yeah.
all, I don't believe in urgent care either because I
I
went.
don't know. I don't know what you believe in,
No, look,
man. Like
no,
these are
look, because
these are
I went to an
institutions that
last year, 2 years. No, when coronavirus first started, 2019, I was
yeah.
very sick 3 times, and none of them were COVID, and I still don't know what it was to this day. And I went to an urgent care, and then he was like, "You know what, man? I think you got anemia." I'm like, "Great, but what does that have to do with this?" And he didn't even test me for anemia. He just said, "Yo, it looks like you got anemia, bro." And ever
Yeah,
since then, I've just been
you should have
cold as
gone.
hell.
You should have gone to your primary care for that.
No, I did, and the primary care was like, "You got COVID," and I was like, "I know I don't have COVID." She's like, "No, you have it." And then I got
Yeah,
tested, and
I
3 days
I
later,
don't know then. Yeah.
it was like I was just throwing up like constantly. I couldn't hold nothing down.
Uh huh. Did
And
you
then
you never found out what it was?
no, and then they I had the endoscopy done,
Uh huh.
and they found no inflammation. So,
That's weird.
well,
Get
off
checked
the
up on that.
record,
Yeah,
I'll tell you off the record.
I think I was asking you about the second time you were at the psych ward. What was that
Right?
about?
It was uh oh yeah. So one thing I did at both psych wards, I never took any of my pills. I took them the first day. They gave me like this OP, like crazy strong Benadryl to knock me out because I don't sleep. And then I would get in trouble for not waking up on time in the morning.
Yeah.
And I had a problem with that. So I just
Okay. I'm gonna cut this.
why would I regret doing that?
These are two things I need to cut.
At least they're back to back.
Bro, this whole podcast is like strictly for like just I don't know. It really just like to get the actual experience and like to get an authentic take on a lot of these things. I mean, it's interesting like because you actually gone through some of these, so like your takes are
For me,
valid
like honestly,
for
I
that.
remember having a lot more fun than anything else. It was
I mean,
my
honestly,
favorite,
the camaraderie is like very
the
wholesome. Like
camaraderie.
even now, like I see like just today, I was sitting in on like two patients. Like one of them was newer, the other one has been there for like a good month, and like he was comforting her, and she was there for like over a month, and she was like opening up the whole thing, and she was like comforting her, and she blamed herself for like something that happened to one of her family members, and he was like, "No, this is not your fault." And he like held her hand, and it was beautiful, man. Like I was just like, "Phil, this is amazing," because they've only known each other for like a few days, but like it's just I think it's like you're in that same place, like you're in it together, that kind of mentality. Yeah, that was pretty dope.
For
I mean,
us,
if you
like
got camaraderie out of it, that's something,
I
I
think
guess.
it was low key. I think it was the fact that we saw it as a prison that brought us closer together. Because it was like you guys were
Unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of them are prisons. Like they're straight up just prisons. Like they sounds
like
like
the
the
people with
place
your
you were
jobs,
at.
the nurses.
Yeah,
We saw them like so we had some really nice ones. We had some who like told us inside information. Like there was one lady who's
yeah,
like who me and my roommate
yeah,
we walked up to her. We would talk to her every day.
yeah.
We asked her like I was like because I remember this one time I was on the phone with my mom.
Uh huh.
Well, I was calling my mom and the phone was ringing, and
Okay.
then I heard someone hang up the phone on the other side, but my mom didn't even pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So then I asked the nurse, I'm like, "Yo, is someone listening to our phone calls?" And then she was like, "I can't tell you what's happening, but just know there's a lot of effed up stuff happening to you at all times."
That's wild. That's wild. If someone's listening in on your conversation, that's so messed up. Yeah,
Because I
that's like
heard
no
the click of
privacy.
a phone being put down. Like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. I don't think we do that. I really don't think we do that. It's a funny story. One time, someone was trying to call. This was at like 11. Like I was doing evening shift. Um, a lady was trying. She was like, because there's just phones like on the in the hallway, like anyone can use them at any time, right? She was like on the phone, and you could like hear her saying, "Yeah, this is an emergency. Get your ambulance. Like this is like come quickly." Like she called 911, and she was like talking to someone about like they wanted. She was calling an ambulance to
To
like to wherever we were, right?
yeah.
Yeah, this is like what the hell? I'm like one of the nurses heard it. He was like, what did you just do? Like, why would you do that? Like,
He was
what if you
watching the
just
whole time.
no, he just overheard like towards the end, and he was like, what did you just do? And then like he like took the phone from her and like put it on the wall, and like he said it nice. He was like, come on, like you're not supposed to do that. Like, what if that ambulance was like meant for someone that could actually need it? And like she understood like these like I said like
Yeah,
these are
that's a great
these are
way
just
to
yeah,
yeah.
like they feel empathy. Obviously, they're just like in a manic state or just trying to goof around. Like they don't understand the repercussions of whatever they're doing. So like she was like, oh okay, sorry, and that was that. But that seemed like she has a lot of stories I could tell. She's really cool though. She's like once you get to know her, she's really like nice and stuff. But like, she had a lot of stories from what I've
I just
heard
wonder
before.
like how many people accidentally end up in the psych ward, like my boy.
Accidentally,
Yeah.
maybe at the place you were. I have no idea how the hell he like got there. If he was mistaken as a rehab center, like I don't know, like how that even like he was there for a month, bro. That doesn't even sound right.
And that wasn't even his first time there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen patients that like they're in for like 2 days and then they're out. Like
Yeah.
they,
There were
they don't
people that
need
were
much
in and out all the time.
because most of like with those things, all they really need is like they're on a new prescription, like they're on a new medication, and they just need to see like how it's being monitored.
Yeah.
Like they need to see like if there's like does it need to be up to dose or like medication management. That's really it for like 2 days, and then they're out. I mean, I could be speaking on my out of my buns here, but because
No, yeah.
I'm not a specialist or whatever. Psych is interesting though. I might like look into it as something I want to do afterwards. But yeah, do you have like any more stories you want to share?
Um Shit, they were kind of coming to me like naturally. I'm trying to remember. There's so many.
All good.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
One time we were playing Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
Me and that same guy who was there accidentally. We were playing Exocells, and there was this new guy. It was his
Uh-huh.
second day. He was huge. This guy was taller than me.
Hmm.
He was like at least 230 pounds, and like he was in good like football player shape or like
Yeah.
basketball power forward shape.
Yeah.
And he was like this big guy. He was very soft spoken. He seemed very nice, very
Hmm.
kind. And we were like, I wonder what his problem is. Like this guy
Hmm.
seems way too normal. And he he
Yeah.
he said no. He said no. I got problems. But he wouldn't tell us what. When is he gonna show us what his problem? When is he gonna
Bro,
like
it'd be
pop off?
like that. Like I've had
And no,
people like I'm just not normally in conversation with, and then halfway through they say the most wild stuff. I'm like, okay, now I know why you're here. Now I know.
so we're playing Advanced Warfare, and all of a sudden we hear, and then we hear everyone inside. And
Oh
then,
no.
bro, I remember the exact thing I saw.
Yeah.
I turned to the left, and there's a door, and there's like a screen door, so you can see
Yeah.
the next room. All I see is this 6'5" or 6", however tall he is, guy,
Yeah.
arms out, twirling around, just going in circles around the whole building,
Yeah.
like a tornado.
Yeah.
And we were scared out of our minds, bro. Like we were all kids who, we from the hood and we thought we were tough and stuff. And then this guy just starts doing a helicopter thing. And then we were like crapping our pants. We locked ourselves all in the game room and we
Yeah.
were just
Yeah.
watching through the window. We were like, what's happening? Turns out he was there for a similar reason. He was off of the K2.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. That stuff messes you up. Like those Subway ads, they tell the truth, bro. Don't stay away from it.
K2. I don't even know why
Yeah.
it's like allowed. Like it's
Is
technically
it
legal,
allowed?
isn't it? Because
Is it
they
legal?
sold it in when it first came out in New York. I remember they
Yeah.
sold it in delis. They sold it at the bodega.
I have no idea. But
It was like how you could
yeah,
go in there and buy like a vape. You could buy K2.
yeah, I don't know. Honestly, yeah, I think I want to like wrap it up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got a busy schedule. Let's
Yeah.
talk
Okay.
off air about a couple things. um, thank you, Adil, for being on. I know like a lot of the stuff
Oh
you said,
man,
like it was pretty vulnerable.
nah. I mean,
I don't know
when
if
it
you
like
like.
literally,
Let me know.
it
Let
feels
me
like
know
nothing.
for. Let me know for real. Like if you want to delete anything.
Nah.
I hope if anything, I just hope this like goes to show like a lot of this stuff. Like it's not. You're not crazy. Like I really like I don't know. Crazy is like
Look, you might
people
be
just throw it
crazy. Don't
around.
listen to Shaq. Don't listen
People
to him.
just
You might be crazy.
people throw that word around, and it's like you have
Cause I like
illnesses,
right now,
diagnoses, like you have
I
issues. Like
might be
everyone has
crazy. Like
issues.
when it comes to me, I don't know if I'm
I'm not gonna
crazy. I
say you're
might be
crazy. You
crazy
can say you're crazy.
because
I'm
you've
not
never
gonna say you're
seen,
crazy.
but you've never seen that other side of the bipolar of Adil.
Yeah,
You've
I've
never
never have,
seen,
but
yeah,
Adele,
and I hope you never do.
I'm not gonna
But
say you're crazy.
all
I've
I'm saying
seen
is when I'm like this, I don't feel crazy at all. Like I have like my mind is in a million places, but that's because I have ADHD. But when I'm like when that switch flips, I have no control over
yeah.
myself. I feel like that's
It's so interesting, bro. Like I've gotten so attached to my patients, like, and I'm just like literally a summer intern. I might they did say I could extend it towards
mhm.
the semester, but like I'm literally just a summer like intern, and like I've gotten so attached, bro. Like I'm literally like praying, for like I have them in my duas, bro.
You got to be
Straight up.
careful with that, bro. You got to be careful.
What do you mean?
I mean, no, obviously pray for them, but
No,
with the
like getting
attachment,
attached to
just be
them.
careful. Yeah,
No, no,
be
I
careful.
know. Like I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing. Like that's what everyone's been saying. Because I like talking to the nurses. I'm like, yo, so like, because I'm actually considering going into this as like something I want to do after
You would be
graduation.
great. Yeah, you would be great.
So they were like, yeah, like because I know the main issue I've always heard is like burnout, like nurses and like people in this field, like they hear all this depressing stuff and it affects them like in their personal lives. So they were like just get really good at compartmentalizing. I've only been there for however long, but so I don't know if I'm like amazing at it, but I think I'm okay at it. So I've gotten
You seem
attached to
like
them.
the way that you look at stuff is perfect. Like you have the perfect point of view for someone that I would want
I,
like working
I
with me in
wouldn't
that
gas
sense.
myself up, bro. Don't
No,
don't do that.
from the other end of it, you're exactly who I would want working with me in that situation.
That means a lot, man. Yeah, psych is super interesting, and I'd love to like work in that field. I want to like experience everything though, because I haven't done most of my clinicals yet. Like in the upcoming year, that's when most of our stuff is. So after that, I'll like get to decide what I want to do, and no, that's if I do go into psych, that'll be really cool.
Yeah, like
Thank you for all of your experiences. Or like telling us all your experiences. What I wanted to say, I don't think I said it right. Like I just want someone out there who might be experiencing similar stuff to know that like, bro, you might call yourself crazy, but like
yo,
you're
literally,
not
like
crazy. Like
you
that's
see the way I talk about it. I don't
you don't. Yeah,
hesitate,
I
right?
know what you
Like
mean.
it's for me, it happened. It's in the
It's a part
past.
of
It's
yeah,
a thing
right,
of the
right.
past. It's a part
I
of me
think
too.
that's healthy. I do think that's healthy. Like I think people should just accept it as their truth. Obviously, like there's things to
It's
make
part
it
of
better.
yeah.
There's like seek help. Go to the right professionals. Psych wars. I hate that your experience was
It
lousy,
depends
but
on where you
yeah,
are and who you are. Yeah.
yeah, it depends where you are, what your staff is like. A lot of people want to help you, especially in that field. Um, there are people that like you said, do it for the money, or like I don't know. I don't know why people go into this stuff like, and then they do messed up stuff like that. Like, bro, you're in like one of the most like the industries that you're meant to like help people. I don't know why you do this stuff, but
Bro, like I just like
regardless,
when you're in a position like that, you're in such a cerebral position. Like you literally have people's lives in your hands.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you can't get more responsible than that.
it's it's so messed. Like I've heard stories, but I've like most of the stuff I've like most of the people I worked with are like really chill, and you can tell they genuinely want to help people. So I just hope that like anyone that watches this who might be in a similar situation, they do seek help because there are
Yeah.
people that genuinely do
Well,
want to help.
one thing that I would say, if you feel like you're not ready to seek help, because I feel like you do have to be ready to receive help, because not everyone's ready to receive help.
That
But
is true.
if
That is true.
if you're in that position, find someone who you trust, who you can talk to. Like for me, I talk to my closest friends. Like
Yeah,
only like I talk to people like Shaquille and so close. But
bro.
no, but yeah,
Last
find
episode,
someone.
you were like Shaquille. You are one of my closest friends in
I
the
mean,
whole.
you are, but even
Hi,
then, like, is it I don't think it's seen the same way from the other side, bro.
bro. bro. Hit me up anytime. I got you. Just
Yeah.
I'm bad with
How about
messaging.
you hit me up anytime?
I'm terrible at messaging. I swear to God, I'm so bad. Like I'm
Nah, but
terrible.
anyone going through that, just find someone that you can talk to and just talk to them. Be vulnerable. Be
Yeah,
honest. Find some form of creative medium that you can use to express yourself,
yeah,
even if it's
yeah,
just for yourself. Like I
yeah,
know Shaquille, he writes a lot of poetry for people, but he also writes a lot of stuff that nobody ever sees. And
yeah. Most of my stuff is just for
yeah,
me.
same here. I have
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
hundreds.
sure most of your songwriting is just for you.
Just yeah, I just do it because it gets whatever I have off my mind,
Yeah,
and whether
yeah,
that's writing, painting, drawing,
for sure.
graphic design, what like anything. Fighting,
Yeah,
fighting is a beautiful form of art. Whatever that is,
yeah,
find that for yourself.
yeah,
Keep trying because if you don't try, you will not succeed.
for sure,
And there's no stop trying, and never forget, there's no shortage of good people out there in the world.
for sure, bro. Hopefully in the near future, I do want like an actual like professional. Um, and you might know the guest that I bring on. You probably do. I won't say in case like he's busy. I give false hope, but he did agree before. I just gotta book it. But yeah, thanks a lot, Adil. Thank you guys for watching and listening as usual, because we are on Apple Podcast, Spotify.
Spotify.
Everyone forgets about these platforms.
I know. I know. That's where
But
I listen. I listen to podcasts on Spotify.
that's
Like it's so
I
convenient.
listen on Apple Podcasts mostly. But yeah, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Those do help.
This
Um,
is one of my top 3 favorite podcasts, by the way. There's the Joe Rogan Experience. There's Congratulations by Chris D'Elia, and then there's Shaded Youth.
there we go. You heard it from the man himself. Anyway,
The
that's a
man.
wrap. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Man, it's been a while since I said
Me.
that, but that's why it's basically anything wrong that we said in this conversation, which might have been a good amount.
Oh,
Hopefully, it gets forgiven.
me.
Anything, and our conversation will be full of barakah, inshallah.
InshaAllah.
That's a wrap. See you guys next week, and
See you soon.
Dill, I will be off air with you for a few
Hopefully, I'll be
confrontations,
back
bro.
with you.
All right, assalamu alaikum.